Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is not only current, but very, very relevant. And the topic is Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. But before I will go on the main topic, I would like to inform you that today the world is observing the International Day of Non-Violence. The International Day of Non-Violence is observed on 2nd October, the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, leader of the Indian independence movement and pioneer of the philosophy and strategy of non-violence. According to General Assembly resolution of 15th June 2007, which established the commemoration, the International Day is an occasion to spread the message of non-violence through education and public awareness. The resolution reaffirms the universal relevance of the principle of non-violence and the desire to secure a culture of peace, tolerance, understanding, and non-violence. And today is 2nd October. And as we all know that today there is the Gandhi Jayanti. The future generation will never believe that great people like Mahatma Gandhi were ever born. It was said by world-famous scientist Albert Einstein. Gandhi Jayanti is celebrated on October 2nd every year to mark the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. It is observed across states and territories in India and is one of the officially declared national holidays. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi or Mahatma Gandhi was born on October 2nd, 1869 in Porbandar, Gujarat. This year will mark Gandhiji's 152nd birth anniversary. People honor Gandhi's contributions towards the Indian independence movement and his non-violent way of life. He led the Dandi Salt March in 1930. In 1942, he launched the Quit India movement. He was also instrumental in abolishing the age-old practice of untouchability. Mahatma Gandhi is alive through his philosophy, both at the national and international stage. On Gandhi Jayanti, the country renews its commitment to peace and harmony. India's freedom struggle was not merely a political movement, but also a call for social and cultural awakening. Time magazine named Mahatma Gandhi Person of the Year in 1930. Gandhiji was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize 5 times, but never received the award. His fame spread worldwide during his lifetime and only increased more and more after his death. The name Mahatma Gandhi is now one of the most universally recognized on earth. And today, we are also celebrating the birth anniversary of Lal Bahadur Shastri. Lal Bahadur Shastri was born on 2nd October 1904. He was the second Prime Minister of India. He promoted the White Revolution, a national campaign to increase the production and supply of milk by supporting the Amul Milk Cooperative of Anand, Gujarat, and creating the National Dairy Development Board. Underlining the need to boost India's food production, he also promoted the Green Revolution in India in 1965. This led to an increase in food grain production, especially in Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. He led the country during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1965. His slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, hail to the soldier, hail to the farmer, became very popular during the war. The war formally ended with the Tashkent Agreement on 10th January 1966. He died on 11th January 1966 in Tashkent.
Got it.
Dr. Shetty, please mute yourself. Sorry. He died on 11th January 1966 in Tashkent. He was posthumously awarded the Bharat Ratna. Media conference with Lal Goel wishes you on this very auspicious day and hopes today's political leaders will follow the principle of these great leaders And now coming on the main topic, Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. Gram Swaraj is a special term coined by Mahatma Gandhi and later developed by Vinoba Bhave, which promotes the transformation of every village into a self-efficient, autonomous entity where all the systems and facilities for a dignified living are available. Swaraj signifies self-rule with a continuous effort towards independence and self-reliance. Gram Swaraj or village self-rule is decentralized, human-centric, and non-exploitative. It adheres to working towards a simple village economy and towards achieving self-sufficiency. Gram Swaraj, an idea of self-reliant village, is a unique concept of rural reconstruction proposed by Mahatma Gandhi much before India's independence that he developed over a period of times. His concept of Gram Swaraj is considered one of the alternative models of rural reconstruction, whose primary focus is on the holistic development of society where individuals are placed in the economic system's centers. However, Gram Swaraj is considered an ideal development approach, yet Indian planners and policymakers emphasized economic development over an individual's moral and ethical values after independence. On the other hand, with gaining more importance to sustainable development, the Gandhian concept of Gram Swaraj starts gaining importance as his approach gave importance to the human being overall development. The Gandhian's development approach primary target was village, as he considered that rebuilding of a nation depends on the reconstruction of rural areas. He, based on his experiences, introduced his economic ideas to reconstruct many rural areas of India. Among them, the experiment of rural reconstruction in Champaran in 1917, Sevagram in 1920, Wardha in 1938, and constructive programs were the prominent example of such initiative. Moreover, he directly introduced his rural reconstruction ideas and urged his followers and colleagues to focus on rural reconstruction. In one of his letters wrote on 13th November 1945 to first Prime Minister of Independent India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he suggested him mental, economic, political and moral development of each individual to have equal right and opportunity. He also asked him to focus on bridging the gap between rural-urban divide. The village, according to Gandhi, is an ideal place to live. A glimpse of his dream village is reflected in his different writings published in Harijan and Young India and some of the personal letters he wrote to different persons. In one such letter written to Munna Lal Shah on 4th April 1941, he depicted his ideal village idea. He dreamed of a village where everyone wears clothes made of own, used oil of indigenous oil presses, and eats oil produced by own. There would be 100% literate people in his dream village with having harmony among different communities, and there would be no untouchability, free from quarrels and thefts. Therefore, the ideal village, what he dreamt, would be an independent unit or a complete republic. Accordingly, Gandhiji considered that each village should be independent of its neighbors for its own vital wants and yet interdependent for many others in which dependence is a necessity. Thus, every village's first concern will be to grow its own food crop and cotton for its clothes. Accordingly, his dream village was based on no caste and class, in which there are no vertical divisions, but only horizontal. No high, no low. All services has equal status and carries equal wages. Those who have more use their advantage not for themselves, but as a trust to serve others who have less. The motivating factor in the choice of vocations is not personal advancement, but self-expression and self-realization through the service of society. There are many components of Gandhian's ideal village. These include revenue generation, village sanitation, village industries, high status of women, etc. He considered that to be a complete republic, a village must have sources of revenue generation. So he said that any village can become such a republic today without much interference, even from the present government, whose sole effective connection with the village is the excavation of the village revenue. Extraction of the village revenue, sorry. Village sanitation and village industries were integral part of Gandhi's dream village. Village sanitation is necessary as it's directly linked with individual mental and physical health. His understanding of village sanitation's importance is reflected in one of the letters he wrote to D.D. Joshi on 1st August 1946. In his letter, he mentioned that village sanitation, domestic cleanliness, personal hygiene, and healthcare have the first place and full scope, the underlying idea being that this done, there can be no disease. According to him, each one should be clean from externally and internally. The village of each individual should be free of dirt and dung and foul smells. So in his village reconstruction program, village sanitation gets a vital place. Accordingly, he urged the village workers to focus on village sanitation specifically. Therefore, he said, the village worker who is ignorant of village sanitation science, who is not a successful scavenger, can not fit himself for village service. Village industries in the Gandhian ideal village find a vital place because only village industries could cater to unemployment in rural areas. These industries, which include soap making, match making, hand grinding, hand pounding, oil pressing, cattle farming, dairying, khadi, etc., are labor driven with the involvement of less machinery. He considered that the urban-centric industries based on big machinery are the source of labor exploitation and only the profit source to their owner. Their objectives are not to solve the problems of unemployment. With the revival of village cottage and small-scale industries would lead to creating employment for mass, leading, sorry, some problem, yeah. With the revival of with the revival of village cottage and small scale industry would lead to creating an employment for mass, leading to an increase in income of rural people. In Gandhian dream village, women got high status. He dreamt of a village where there will be the same respect for women as vouchsafed to men, and the chastity and purity of men and women will be jealously guarded. Where every woman except one's wife will be treated by men of all religions as mother, sister, or daughter according to her age. Therefore, Gandhi dreamt for a village where all the individuals will be free of all diseases, exercise their physical labor, have all connectivities and all necessities of life, such as clean water, food, clothes, sanitation, education, and the house, lead to self-reliance. He thus emphasized people's inclusion in decision-making, as decision-making only can make a village self-reliant and self-rule or true republic. There would be no exploitation and each individual will have equal rights and opportunities in the Gandhian's ideal village. And to discuss today's very, very important and relevant topic on a very, very auspicious day of Gandhi Jayanti, the topic Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj, we have a very elite chief guest with us, those who have authority, those who have experienced, and those who have seen both the eras, the Gandhi as well as pre-Gandhi era as well as post-Gandhi era. I would like to invite and introduce my first chief guest, and he is Dr. C.P. Abid Rahman. Dr. Rahman is an icon of unity. He is the chairman and medical director of Unity Health Complex, Mangalore. He is an ardent campaigner of peace and harmony. He had introduced hospitality in hospital segment much before anyone even thought about it. Dr. Habib had given a lot of importance for human relations. Peace and tranquility in the district and in the nation is always given a priority. He is a management philosopher, and his views about global peace initiatives are highly appreciated by international authors like Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Several of his early writings about economic and political failures are now reflected in the socio-economic situation in the country and world. Dr. Habib had visited Rashtrapati Bhavan in the year 2006 and had a long discussion with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, our former president, about the mad rush of politicians for attaining and retaining power. He had suggested about educating politicians for self-realization as the only way for making Indian politics truthful and transparent. Political leaders should be exposed to higher learnings about human behavior. This can help them to discover themselves and the purpose of their existence in the world. This will only lead them to achieve peace within themselves. Country will become peaceful when leaders in the country achieve peace within themselves. Dr. Habib always compared planet Earth being a flight. It may collapse when the passengers go against peace in the flight. Welcome, Dr. Habib, on our show, Media Conference with Lal Goel. Today is a very auspicious day at Gandhi Jayanti. And Dr. Habib, you have written so much about the rural development, about the how the leadership should follow the peace and harmony among the different communities and how to uplift the women. So we would like to know your views today on a very, very relevant and very important topic, that is Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. Dr. C.P. Habib Rahman, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lal Goel. The opportunity given to me a part of your program, I really appreciate it, though I don't consider myself as an authority on this subject. What you are doing is wonderful work for the last so many months or year, maybe picking up a subject of common interest to the public and highlighting through your media. It's a very noble venture, and the people are getting educated out of this program, and as well as many people have a chance to express their thoughts, whatever they know about their experience and knowledge. The subject is a very interesting subject personally for me, because both the subjects, Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj, is not understood by many of us. Gandhi, our father of our nation, is almost forgotten. Now we see statues everywhere. When I go to London or New York and other places, Gandhi statues are well preserved and kept there for people, but hardly they reflect on the live Gandhi ones. What was the Gandhi's real spirit, not only to our country, India, but to the whole world as such. He's one of the few leaders you could find in this last century who has given something liberation of humanity from all bondages. So he fought for the freedom of the country, India, but also he fought for the liberation of human beings, particularly in enslaving themselves into poverty, etc. He is one of the greatest leaders of humanity in time long, we can say, not only the 20th century, but the past as well as the future, where anyone can reflect when you look for a leadership, what Gandhi has contributed to humanity and our country in particular. The subject also, Gram Swaraj, is something what is called village self-realization and management. Is also a very novel concept, because in this 21st century, when you're talking democracy, the real area where you can rule the country as such, a self-rule for a limited area is not talked about. Today, we talk about global village. I consider it as a misnomer. There's no such thing as a global village. Maybe more appropriate global city as such, you can say. Everybody want to be urbanization now. You want more communication, transport, etc., like a city. So it can be called as a global cityization, something like that, but not a global village. A village has got an inherent beauty of nature given to mankind. And that is not happening. Now, what is more important is a local village, not a global village. A local village, which is very important. When you come from aircraft or something in the future as a spacecraft, go to moon and come back, travel can take place. When you come down to the earth from space, we can see the earth in two areas. One is water, another is land. The people who live in the planet Earth are all in land, not in the water. But water is a part of the living purpose. Without water, you cannot live. But we live in the land, and through land, people find their existence. Land has got so many values. One of the basic thing in land, what they find is they get the food for them. If you want to eat and survive, you require food, carbohydrate, etc., all these things. You don't get in the water. There, water you get fish and other proteins, but the real carbohydrate, the food you require, you get from the land. So the first and foremost thing of human survival, what I call is economics, if it can be called economics, not my wording, it may be wrong because I am not an economist. It is the land use. The economics first is the land use. How you use your land. And that starts first from the farming. And later on, you can have all your other areas, whatever you think of human development, you said factories, universities, education centers, anything you want, you can have from the land. So land use is the primary things of a place for human survival. And you find the world population are located more in the land and particularly in Asia. You go to Europe and the West and all, the population minimized and to a small place. But in Asia, like China, India, Indonesia, Africa and all this area, you find the more population located in this area. Gandhian philosophy of Gram Swaraj or village is more relevant now than any other time. We are globalized to the 21st century with all the values of human rights. We call the Western democracy undoubtedly one of the greatest contribution to mankind. The democracy, the human rights, and the knowledge which I got from the West, etc., is a great contribution. And the development in the last 200 years, West developed into one of the dominating force in the world. But thousands of years of history shows last 2,000 to 4,000 years, it is not the West which was dominating, it is the East, mainly India and China. China and India are the great culture of their own tradition and values for thousands of years. And that traditional culture still value though how best is try to absorb from the West the modern development. So the Gandhian philosophy of Swaraj is more relevant, and Gandhi as himself has got a great contribution to humanity as an individual person. My fascination for Gandhi as a personality was some of the things which I observed in him. There, one is, he wrote his biography as my experiment with truth. Nobody has written a biography like that, my experiment with truth. And where do experiments? Most of the experiments are done by scientists with the truth. You know, that every religious scripture say about truth. The Gita says, Satyam, the Bible says, truth is this thing, the Quran says, Haq. You find all this truth in various scriptures, but the followers do not follow the truth. The one who follow the truth are the scientists. They don't deviate, because without truth, they won't get the results. So what you find is, Gandhi wrote his biography, My Experiment with Truth. I was always thinking, why he wrote their biography, My Experiment with Truth? Because he was a scientific mind he had, how to find the truth as a scientist. The other most important thing what you find in Gandhi also what is called non-violence. When the West was invading in the Second World War, bombed Japan with nuclear bombs, our father of nation, Gandhiji, gave another bomb of counter, that is non-violence, and won the freedom for India. It is a world to awaken the two counter forces. One is violence, another is non-violence. It is another contribution Gandhi to the country and to the whole world. And the third quality I found in him was unconditional love for humanity and people. He is a born Gujarati, a Hindu, whatever it is there, but he loved the people of India, whether Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Jains, whichever community belongs. He loved them for unconditional love. Then also he practiced no hate. He never hated anybody as such. On the other hand, he loved them. And another important thing which I found in Gandhiji was his dress code. Now the people are tempted to have the best dress possible there. That's the tendency of the West. And also, luckily, India don't follow, our leaders don't follow that much of the Western culture. But still, Gandhi never wore a shirt. He was going as if he has no shirt as such in the whole world. In the British, he entered without a shirt. That is a unique quality of one personality. And where is no shirt, there is no pocket. It's a politician without any pocket. So, I mean, that is something unique qualities what we found in Gandhi compared to many other leaders. As I was trying to express about the village, Gandhi visualized along with the freedom also how India can be liberated along with independence, also the liberation of poverty and backwardness, etc., through a village. That was his Gram Swaraj, where he thought of liberating the village, self-rule by their own people there. These are lofty concepts. As I was trying to communicate earlier, he said the economics of a region is something related to the work of the people there. The economy of the whole world is changing. Earlier, poverty was known as a menace to development. Today, population was a great liability. There was master planning and all earlier time we could see. Family planning was a big thing now. Of course, more people are a liability. But today, population is a gift because we find business is where people live. That is where Asia and India is flourishing. The West with this diminished population are really on the reverse gear, which they themselves do not know. The knowledge workers around the world are from India and China. You find all the educated people of the world, you can see who knows English and technology, are mainly from India and also now to some extent from China. So the next generation will be dominated by the East Asia, particularly China and India. Now, India has got a great role to play. One of the biggest way what we can develop our country and contribute to humanity is so some points. What I would like to summarize before my ending these points, there are about 7 points. What I feel, how a village can be liberated. Basic things you want in a village is about 7 things I find there. One is you require food. Basically, to live, you require food. You also require a shelter, a dwelling place where they can rest and sleep. Then you require a clothes to protect himself. You require a healthcare setup where he can go for any health problems, some area. Then you require education, that is for children to study. Then you require a job where you can work, employment. And finally, you require a pollution-free atmosphere to live. For this, what is happening is a self-Swaraj, or what he call as Gram Swaraj or village self-rule can come if you focus on all these areas. How best a village can develop. There has been a tendency for years and for even centuries to migrate to the cities. Now we must, what he called demigration, go back to the villages. And Lal is an example of that. He has come from cities, lived in cities, now he has come to a village, and there he is doing all this program. A typical example for anybody to follow. You've got a big farm in there in South Canada, enjoying all the things and doing all these social services. The migration to the village, demigration, not to cities, is a new trend we should try to follow. Because even earlier times, when you talk about all big hotels and all, or 5-star hotels, they are all found in big cities. Now, when you look to the good hotels, people go to villages like resorts. all the resorts in villages inside, not in the cities now. So there is a tendency also to de-migrate back to villages, to have all those facilities, a pollution-free environment, good oxygen, education, children education, etc. All the things are made available in the village. Then you can have what Gandhi felt it, village self-rule or Gram Swaraj. I think it is very important for us to reflect because the majority of the world population live in the Asian continent, the Asian African continent. So unless the village is developed, the people cannot develop. So we have to focus on the villages development more than any other industrialization. If you think of the Western type of industrialization, that is no more valid now. Earlier, to transport and communication was very difficult. Today, transport and communication is very easy. Communication is instant. Anytime you can know the knowledge what is happening in the other part of the world. And within 16 to 20 hours, you can reach any part of the world. So the whole global world, not a village, global city has come together. So the old tendency doesn't prevail now. We have to think a new dimension, how a group of people living together in a small village can have first liberation of themselves for the better living. Then it can spread to other areas of in the country, then Asia continent, and global as a whole. I think on this very important day of Gandhi Jayanti, not only we, the people of India, but the population of the world should reflect on this great man who gave a foundation not only for the nation, but on the overall the humanity asset, how women can be not only one freedom from the other colony, but also liberation from their own poverty, etc. Thank you very much, Mr. Goel, your opportunity given to me. I hope I have reflected some of the thoughts which may be relevant to this today's program.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. C.P. Rahman. You have given a very, very descriptive thoughts of yours, how Mahatma Gandhi was not only important for India, but the entire world, and how he has changed and how he has countered the bombs which were started in the World War, and how with the non-violence he fought and he won the independence to India, and how his emphasis for the village, which has now become very relevant nowadays in the present scenario. So, Dr. Rahman, you have given all the details in a very, very precisely manner and giving your thoughts, which are really very enlightening. I'm sure today's program, our viewers who are watching, has come to know they have viewed and they are viewing your views and the new dynamic views which you have given about Mahatma Gandhi, because we all know Mahatma Gandhi, but how many of us know the real philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi, and how many we want to follow? You rightly said the statues are everywhere in the world. And rather, I will say one step further, there people have more respect outside now than in our own country, where we have lots of questions on the integrity of Mahatma Gandhi, which the other countries are giving respect, and they feel that the one person who has changed the entire scenario, otherwise the world has become very, very difficult to live. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahman, for giving very, very nice your views, and I'm sure that our viewers are very enlightened with that. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite my next chief guest, and he's Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty. Dr. Shetty is a teacher, philosopher, researcher, administrator, sportsman, visionary. He is the director of Center for Advanced Dentofacial Stematogenetic Sciences, Niche University. He is founder dean of A.B. Shetty Memorial Institute of Dental Science, Niche University. He was the national president of Dental Council of India from 1995 to 1998, having 48 years of teaching experience in the faculty of dentistry. He also holds the record for the tenure of 21 years as dean and principal of a single institution. Professor Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty is the recipient of very, very famous Dr. B.C. Roy National Award in 1996. The award was presented by the Honorable President of India. Eminent Teacher Award in the field of health sciences by the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. Lifetime Achievement Award by the Indian Prosthodontic Society. His master work is in successfully demonstrating and model in providing free, trade-free healthcare to the rural poor at their doorsteps free of cost. Welcome, Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty on our show. Dr. Shetty, you have heard Dr. C.P. Rahman as well as we about his views. Now, you being a doyen in the medical field, as well as you are the pioneer who has started providing free treatment or free dentist dentures to the poor and especially in the rural area. So you have the fair idea about the village, about the gram, and you have done lots of work, and your proposal which you have sent to the government is also in such a way that you want that the villages to be uplifted. Once the village will be uplifted, according to your concept, the entire country will uplift. We would like to know from you your views on Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Samaj, Gram Swaraj. Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty, please. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute. Dr. Shetty, please unmute. Yes, please.
Good morning to everybody. Thank you very much, Mr. Goel, for introducing me to the group. Good morning, Dr. Habib Rahman, our good old friend and colleague, and the young, talented people who are participating in this one. I don't want to use your name. I welcome you for this simple discussion. Now, a lot of things have been said about our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. I don't know. I was only 6 years old when we got our independence. But even at 6 years old, before that, we had a wonderful experience in our little town, Kundapur, where Mahatma Gandhi came. At that time, we are known him as Mohandas Karamchandra Gandhi. Later on, after the independence, we are calling him as Mahatma Gandhi. And he visited our town. So one of the greatest things I heard from my father, of course, they were not graduates of this one, just had a formal educations and they were doing a business. They said, Mahatma Gandhi is the person, he used to talk in our house. Why we have to go for Mahatma Gandhi, listen for him? He said, he is the person who has visited every village of this country before he started his movement of independence movement. He is a person who knows the the way of living of every citizens in the rural area. In those times, it is 90% of the population of our country was in the rural area. And 10% of the population was in big cities like Bombay, Calcutta, Chennai, and all those areas. Even our Bangalore was called as a semi-urban city. It's not a big city. Now, the man has impressed everybody from a child to the oldest in Kundapur town by his simple behaviors. Suddenly, the Gandhiji was not seen. He was staying in one of the prominent citizens in our place, Kamat. The place is called as Shantiniketan. And he was missing. Then everybody started searching for Mahatma Gandhi. Then they found that he has gone all the way to the village, place called Moodlakatte. There is a place called Moodlakatte, full of greenery, all the villages. He was sitting there and enjoying the environment of a village. Probably most of these things which he has visited the villages has inspired him to think about Gram Swaraj, apart from getting an independence for our country. And one of the biggest gift he has given to us, that non-cooperation, that is, you do satyagraha for right things, not for wrong things. That if I want to have some major share from my parents, I can't do satyagraha for that. but right things, you ask for satyagraha. This is the way that the satyagraha was taught to all of us. So the right of living in democracy is taught to every villages. Every village was, I think that it was that philosophy was simply taken by people of India to get this independence. Of course, a lot has talked about Mahatma Gandhi in our school days, and we were all celebrating so many, this day of Gandhiji, we were celebrating. Then, of course, now I became a graduate. Then I started working, and then I was. I don't know whether fortunate or unfortunate, though I was feeling that I should not leave this country. I left our country. I was working in the Nairobi University. I saw a beautiful statue of Mahatma Gandhi with a stick standing there, with a holding stick standing there in the Nairobi University. It is instituted by the Indians at the Nairobi city, at the Nairobi University, the statue. It is not because this is the only person in the world who could get independence for the country is non-violence. Even our neighbor country like Pakistan or Bangladesh, they all got independence by violence. All over the world, people got independence by violence. He is the only man who has become a guideline for the international people to get independence. Your right for living, right for the environment, right for the country, right for the land, right for the water, everything is your right. It's not that anybody owns this. You all together own this to make the prosperity for our country. So this is the simple words which we have to understand about Mahatma Gandhi. So I was very much pleased being an Indian, and that too, we all adore Mahatma Gandhi as our Mahatma. And today in the Nairobi University, that is, they have put Gandhi statue wholeheartedly. I used to visit my library for my own reasons. And I saw these, the African girls. They bring their big bags, carrying handbags. They put on the bags into the statue where he's holding a stick, It's convenient for them to leave the bag there. So I went straight to the librarian and told him, please remove this statue from here. He was surprised. I'm an Indian. I'm saying, please remove this statue. I said, when the people don't respect him, why do you keep this statue? Educate your people that he has to be respected. For what? Not because he's an Indian, not because we call him as a Mahatma Gandhi, for the contribution what he has done to the world to liberate the human beings. The guidelines what he has given to liberate the human beings. Guidelines he has given to the equality for every human being in the world. See, for this you have to educate your people. See, what is the use of putting a statue without having any respect for this? Same thing we see in our country also. It is not that even in our college days, people will say, I do this. Then finally think, what is that? It's Gandhi. It's Gandhi. What is that? It's free. Gandhi means it is not important because you are earning money or giving something to this one, and making money only is the reason. It is not Gandhi. But giving free for service to the people is a Gandhi. These are the type of a mentality what we youngsters are having. I don't think that these youngsters have ever studied in their schools what Professor Habibur Rahman has just mentioned, the things which he has said. Why Mahatma Gandhi is, Mohandas Karamchandra Gandhi is called as Mahatma Gandhi. Now, there are so many things. Now, for example, today we are saying Swachh Bharat. That started by Mahatma Gandhi. He has visited every village. He knows that our rivers are polluted, our land is destroyed, our environment is gone, our people are suffering. We are not able to grow food properly because of the soils are eroded away, and there are no proper facilities available for the people. And ultimately, people are more sick. There is no facility for their health to take care of emergencies, the health. So for these reasons, the Gandhiji has experienced everything by visiting every village in the country. So he has said there should be a Swachh Bharat. Now, for the information of many people, you may be knowing about it. Do you know that India is the first Bharat, I could call it as Bharat, is the first country which has started, which has started the toilet. You know, the first toilet was made in India. You know what type of a toilet? People used to defecate wherever they want. Of course, urinate anywhere they will do it, but defecate everywhere they want. They used to defecate in the fields. Now, for the reasons of the health of their own experience, they found out near the woods where they can shoot the arrow, an area, which is, of course, even today people call that field as a Malagadde, means the area for defecation. Same way, during the rainy seasons, they will have a separate defecation near the house in the particular field. Because rainy season, they can't go to the woods at all. Why do you say they are going to the woods? Because they found out that area where they can throw the arrows in case of anybody coming, lifting the children or women, harming the woman from outsiders. To this. This is how they form a toilet. Of course, in those days, I think I've seen even in a London bridge is falling down. They say they all sit on the London bridge and defecate on the Thames River. Now, this is the first thing which he saw that we require, because we are polluting the area, we require a toilet. Today, the young generation or old generation, village or city, how many of you know how to use a toilet? How many of you know how to use it? You'll shit and go away. We may not put even water also. Because you feel only for your urge, you go to the toilet. See, the Gandhiji has seen all these things. And people were exploiting it even in those days, that, carrying of the night soil to the different areas for particular community, they were appointing it. And all these things were seen by Mahatma Gandhi. He has done a liberation to all this type of a slavery. But unfortunately, as soon as we got independence, the first thing was considered by that, probably by the influence of Mahatma Gandhi, the health. They formed 1948 a commission by Boer committee to help the health people, how many doctors we want, what will be our system of health system for taking care of things. It was estimated at that time by Boer committee that there should be one doctor for 4,000 people. Now, today medical science is different. What was in 1940s, 80s different. We have found out there are so many diseases. There are so many diseases, we don't have a solution. We have to treat symptomatically. Even now, Mr. Goel is a champion for organ transplantation, motivations and other things. Even for that, those things are not there in those days. It was simple, common primary diseases. I remember my great-granduncle, head of our family, had a problem with the kidney. From Kundapur, we have taken it to Chennai for a treatment. For Chennai. We could take it because we are affordable for that. We could have a convenience for that. We have people to take care of us in Chennai. And then he was brought by the contact of the people by government ambulance to back to our Kundapur town. So this was a situation in our country that is in 1955 I'm talking about. Even today, with all the development programs which they have done in our country, we have a simple, misguided system where we think the rural people does not require tertiary care. Does not think that we think that there are rural people does not require a treatment of any type free of cost. Why we have to say free of cost? Today I'm a middle class man. I worked for so many years. Today, if I have to have some problem with my any organs of serious problems, I can't afford a treatment. Suppose Mr. Goel is offering me a free kidney transplant for me, I can't afford it because I don't know. I am ignorant about it, how much it costs. Even somebody is given a free kidney, how much it will go to transport it, put it back into my, then after that, to take a medicine, for immune suppression medicine. I don't know how much I can do. So what is the fate of a common man who has earned for almost 80 years in the life for living, had a good living, and in the medical college? If I say that I can't afford a treatment, how can you afford a poor a farmer or even a middle class farmer to have a treatment? Now, what is the situation in our country today? Situation is we have sub-centers for 4,000 people without doctors. But then we have primary health centers where there is one doctor is there, the rest of the people. Then we have community centers where about 30-bed hospitals, some specialists like pediatrician, physician, surgeon, and gynecologists are available. And the next, taluk hospitals, district hospitals, or 100 beds or 200 beds, some are 300 beds or more. This is the type of a medical system we have run by the health system. But for all the tertiary care or quaternary care, we have to go to the apex hospital. It may be a corporate hospital or apex hospital of the medical college. Of course, medical colleges should have everything because student has to learn, teachers has to teach. It is not on papers. It is actually on the patients they have to teach. They have to learn on patients. So all these things are happening only in apex hospital like medical college hospital. Now, what is the sin if I have born in a small village of a Nailadi and living there, farming and growing food for the country? Not only for me, I'm growing food for my country also. And raising the domestic animals and producing milk. There are so many other things which I am doing it by hard working, not for 6 hours or 8 hours. I work for, in the peak seasons, more than 24 hours. I have to take care of everything there in the villages. And most of the life is in risk there. Because I have to climb the tree and I fall down. I have to use tiller, which I have to hit my leg somewhere. Or I may get tired and I get a heart attack. We don't know what is happening because as a poor farmer. No, what is that he has to go, where he has to go, where it is available for him. We see a big cutouts all over in Mangalore town. Now, Mangalore is a very big center for medical facilities. I think a lot of people are coming here because we have more than 8 medical colleges within a small city. 8 medical colleges. And there are some excellent hospitals like Dr. Habib Rahman, he is the pioneer in making an excellent hospital, utilizing all the expertise, providing all type of diagnostic. Am I right, Professor Habib Rahman? I have seen him from last 35 years in Mangalore because I was not knowing him before. I came to Mangalore only in 1985, and I have seen his development. His way of approach to doctors, patients, and he is known as a noble man in our town, Habib Rahman. Now, what I am saying is, when a person in the village is 120 kilometers or 150 kilometers, my village is a Nailadi village, can he come within? Does he have any vehicle to come, or how he can come to reach this 120 kilometers or 130 kilometers from Mangalore? If I have a stroke, as you know that they're all putting everywhere cutout saying that you visit our hospital within 3 hours, we can save your, getting paralyzed or whatever it is they are saying. How can this man know? He doesn't know also, but how can you? So he doesn't aware that it can be done. Suppose he is fall down and have a head injury, where he will go? Suppose he has snake bites him, where he will go? No, this is all, they all use the village method, try to save, and then finally the person has to die. Now, for these reasons, the medical development which Swarajya cannot happen if people are not healthy. They have to be healthy, they have to be educated, they have to know about why the environment is required. Why? How can they grow a balanced diet within themselves, not going and buying somewhere else? How to take care of people in emergency? How to take care of pregnant women? How to take care of a children? How to bring up a children? What type of a food they have to give? They need not buy dabbas from the pharmacy. They can grow it in the villages only. What they have to do for occupational hazards? Somebody is having a chicken farm or a dairy farm. There are some occupational hazards comes for people, the health hazards. They may fall down or they may get injured. For all these things, we have to create an awareness. Are we creating an awareness? Yes. There is a sub-centers of the primary health centers are there, where there are people who are in the ANMS or ASHA workers. There are ASHA workers. They are supposed to go to the villages and make them an awareness about all those things. What is the situation now? I don't know whether you people, even in our Mangalore town, if an ASHA worker goes, because we hear a lot of things in the newspaper also. Recently, because of the pandemic of COVID, people were going house to house. ASHA workers are thrashed by people. See, now what is required? A doctor going to be a doctor should be going there to advising for them to take it. Now, this is the thing what we are having. This is what Swarajya, Dr. Mahatma Gandhi has seen for people by visiting every village. This is one of the important program what he has imbibed to all of us, but we are not practicing. We are not able to do it. What we are seeing is health. Health. Without health, what is that country can do? If I am not healthy, what I can do? But it is possible that we can get any type of diseases. Now we have found out, we are scientists and stalwarts have found out, we have more than 5,000 to 6,000 types of diseases. There are some diseases which we can treat only symptomatically. This is advances in medical sciences, thanks to them. But these people can have that treatment? So it is possible only in the tertiary hospitals. You can take care of primary health center, primary care, secondary care, everything in a focused area. Now, if you have to go, first of all, I have to be aware of things. I'm sorry, taking a lot of time. I have to be aware of things that what is requirement for our health. So I have come up with a small concept that we are in a teaching institution. Let's say medical college itself, not a dental college. I've proved it is possible to do a free treatment. From 1987, I have started this program with the great help of our Chancellor, Nittay Education Trust, Chancellor Nittay University, and then the chairman of the Nittay Education Trust, Mr. Sri Vinay Hegde. Now he's popularly known as NV Hegde. He is a missionary. He is a philanthropist, and he is kind. Or even in education, or even in health, or anything, and even in social aspects also, he is doing a tremendous job. But he is not publishing it. This is one of the biggest weakness of those people, because people want publicity. They do a 10 paisa work and they do make publicity of 1 rupee. So this is the person who supported me for this vision. The vision is that I had gone into a simple concept: create an awareness. After creating an awareness, they should be made to make availability of the treatment. Then accessibility also should be there. Then they should be able to take the treatment and medicine. It should be free of cost. This is my concept. Now, medical colleges, now we have big campuses all over. In Mangalore itself, we have 9 Father Mullars, KMC, Mangalore, then AJ in Mangalore city, Srinivas. Then we have 3 medical colleges in Yenapoya and KS Hegde, and then Kanachu. Then a little far, about 150 kilometers, we have Sulya. In South Canara district, we have so many medical colleges, so many nursing homes. The probably as classical as Dr. Habib Rahman's nursing home, hospital, but there are many. All these people, how we have to focus on the medical college. Medical college has got to have every facilities, every experts in the medical science, from the basic science to the paraclinical to clinical, the super specialties, every aspect has to be there. Then only they can educate graduates, postgraduates, and super specialists for education for management of patients. Now, these people, instead of concentrating in one place, now Dr. Habib Rahman knows that in a medical college for 100 admissions, there should be 7 surgical ward, 7 medical ward, gynecology ward, this like for 12 subjects. Now pick up this one ward of each 12 subjects, make it as a 100-bed hospital. I don't know whether it will become 100-bed by calculating, but make a 100-bed hospital. Shifting all those specialists working in these wards to that 100-bed hospital. The teachers, I'm talking about teachers, technicians, nurses, ANMs, all those people who are working in the hospital, shift them to a village, start a medical college in a village only, or if this medical college is going to be to do that, make extra this one. And then the community department of the medical college should take an extra responsibility. They must make a team of students, clinical students, and doctors with the public health engineers, agriculture officers, veterinary officers, and public relation officers. They must make a team and to train the students to make some questionnaires for the public health as well as general health. Go and see every person by visiting the house. Create an awareness for them. Now, how many you have to do? But if there is a 100-bed hospital, 500 admission medical college is there, then 5 such hospitals has to be made 100-bed hospital with all facilities, with the additional emergency section of 30 beds for pediatrics, gynecology, trauma, and the emergencies. So these people, students will be posted there, doctors will be posted there, and these people, community department will be expanded to have all these people as a batches. Students are trained how to interact with the people, with the questionnaires, go to the house, educate them, create an awareness, then make the health status of every person, make aware of it, and then bring them, the old people, young people, pregnant women, or sick people, to the 100-bed hospital. Provide them a free treatment. Free treatment. Whether it is even as a kidney transplant, it should be a free treatment. All quaternary care, everything should be made. So you can have a nucleus hospital where you will have a super specialist and other people, only extra cost will be for providing a facilities for diagnostic facilities, then for providing a little more manpower. This would be extra cost. Now, people who are going to the village, now they are going in the white coat. They should not be a burden for them. You can make an arrangement in a different way that you carry your food, you carry your water, and then speak to people house to house, educate them, and if there are any sick, bring them to the hospital and give it free treatment. This was my small concept. I want to put in a nutshell. This, we are going to have Grama Swaraj. This is going to be a Grama Swaraj because every person in this country, his health care will be taken care, sick people will be taken care, the comfort will be there, and the problem of affordability will not be there, and all this can happen if it is a medical college. Why medical college I'm selecting it? Because it's an apex hospital, all experts are there, manpower is there, young and energetic students, never tiring young and energetic students are there, and it will be an advantage for all these people to have a more experience with the patients. It is they can see many type of patients, many type of diseases, but how is it possible to see all over? No. With responsibility of 50,000 households in the rural area. 50,000 only in the rural area. I'm not talking about semi-urban or urban area. 50,000 rural areas, households. It may come to about 300,000 people, and these people are provided all this free treatment. The rest of the people, of course, they can charge them. They can do whatever they want. I'm not saying that they don't treat them, but
Yes.
the problem is our attempt should be for this FX hospital is 50,000 households of the rural population, free of cost, making them easy access, easy availability, and creating an awareness for health, why health is important. Now, with this, why we are talking about a public relation officer, he can advise them how to get a good price for growing a good food, how to get a good price for them, get some vocational jobs for them. The economy of the people will be improved. Of course, public health engineer can say that where they can build a hospital, toilets, potable water, and all those things. No, this is what I am thinking about it. But what is the problem now? What is the problem now? Government of India should open their eyes, look into this vision, discuss that properly, and give permission, like Professor Habib Rahman is there. He has got an excellent hospital.
Professor Shetty, we have to be brief because others are waiting to say.
No,
because
okay. No, if he is given a permission to start this multi-center hospital, multi-roof, multi-center hospital for medical education, it has to be done by Government of India, not by anybody else. The Government of India has made a regulation for medical college. If it is done, I think our country will be healthy and we can enjoy the Swaraj, Grama Swaraj, and Swaraj of our country. And it would be probably the dream of Mahatma Gandhi that we all live happily, healthily, and democratically. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty, for giving your views about Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. And what he highlighted is that Mahatma Gandhi foresee at that time the health issue. And he says the health is the most important thing. And his emphasis is that the villagers, the rural area, require the health facilities far more than even the city people because of there is no such facilities available there. And his emphasis is to provide free of cost all types of health facilities to the villagers. Then only we can have the Gram Swaraj because of what Mahatma Gandhi dreamt. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty. Sorry, I have to interrupt because of the paucity of time. And it's a light.
I'm sorry, you have a limited time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So now I would like to invite my youth guest. And the youth guest now, because of the paucity of time, they can speak for 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes at all. So my first youth guest is Miss Hiromani Kalita. Miss Hiromani Kalita, you have heard both of our chief guests. So please, we would like to know from you your views on Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. Miss Hiromani Kalita, please. Yes, please unmute yourself. If you are muted yourself, Miss Kalita. Yeah, please speak. No, we can't hear you. Please, we can't hear you. Speak loudly or bring your, yeah.
Good morning.
No, it's not clear. Miss Kalita, you do one thing, you just see what is the technical problem. Till that time, I am going to the next youth guest, and then I will come back to you again. She is Miss Manvitha Bhatt. Ms. Manvitha Bhatt, you have heard both the chief guest of our program. We would like to know from you, Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. You introduce yourself and speak not more than 5 minutes at all, please. Please unmute.
Sir, I am Manvitha Bhatt, currently studying engineering in Bantakal College, Sri Madhva Vadaraja Institute of Technology and Management, Bantakal. I thank you, sir, for inviting me as a youth guest to talk on Gandhiji and Gram Swaraj.
Speak a little louder, please.
As we all know,
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
As we all know, 70% of Indian population live in the rural areas, and therefore there can be no national development until and unless there is rural development. Since the economic liberalization, a lot of development has occurred in many places of India, but it has not reached rural India yet. The main reason for this is our flawed administrative system and improper planning and implementation of economic policies. Throughout his life, Gandhiji used to emphasize the importance of village in India. To him, for the progress and improvement of India, it was necessary to develop the condition of Indian villages. Therefore, he prescribed Gram Swaraj or Panchayat Raj system. It was based on the principle of democratic decentralization. He believed that in India, power must flow to the masses. He regarded the villages as the basic unit of administration, and every village must have sufficient power to manage its own affairs. For him, perfect Swaraj meant all the villages and all the villagers must be enjoying freedom. For it is the only way to realize the values of democracy from the grassroots levels, as it will enable the people to participate in taking and implementing decisions without a rigid and strict control of any higher authority. Moreover, it is the only alternative way to reduce the interference of the state government in the day-to-day affairs of the people. He also indicated that Western mechanism of democracy was not suitable for India. Therefore, he favored India's own institutional framework to realize the values of democracy. The conception of every village as a small republic for him was a workable idea in the Indian situation. Because the village panchayats were directly elected by the people, and they know exactly what they want. This model would be sovereign legally and politically and would be subordinate to none. It would hold legislative, executive, and judicial powers. It would be a perfect village government where perfect grassroots democracy would function to ensure individual freedom, social security, and common welfare. In conclusion, I'd like to say, as Gandhiji said, independence must begin from the bottom. Thus, every village must be republic or panchayat having full powers. Therefore, every village has to be self-sustained, capable of managing its affairs, even to the extent of defending itself against the whole world. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Manvita Bhatt, for giving your views. Now, I will go back to Ms. Kalita. Are you ready? Please unmute yourself. We'll just, and yes, please give your view. No, you have muted again.
So muted again. You
Please
unmuted.
please,
Just
please
one
unmute.
touch. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, please speak.
Good morning.
No, I think your device, you have to increase the volume. Please do it. Then we will come back again. Now, I would like to invite my next youth guest, and he's Mr. Sagar Bandula. Mr. Sagar, you have heard our both the chief guests. You would like to know your views on Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. Mr. Sagar, 5 minutes only. You have to give your introduction also. Please go ahead.
Okay. So good morning, one and all, and thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And yeah, I am Sagar Bhandula, and I am a professional public speaker, born internationally in Singapore Toastmasters Club. And I'm an undergraduate, and I am in 4th year of my college, and I've trained more than thousands of people in public speaking. And also I have a part of national service scheme, because I believe in helping people and I love to help, because this nation is mine. And a man of dignity, a man of peace, a man of love, that is none other than Mahatma Gandhi. We call it as Mahatma Gandhi. Why? Because the love that he showed up, survived, and he he ruled the nation, and he survived us. And because of Mahatma Gandhi, we have got independent. And the Gram Swaraj basically is for the people. He believed that if India is there, but if villages are suffering, that whole and entire village of India will be suffer. So the Gram Swaraj, basically, he wanted to make each and every village to be independent. He adopted the khadi, and he treated, he guided them, and also given a very good services like education, health services. But today, as Professor and Sridhar and Dr. Habib said, that yes, this is the major problem that we see, that nobody today respect our Gandhiji. Even in our hometown is nearby, the statue is there, but nobody is respecting, and that's the major concern. And even in the villages, this is the main problem. They also suffer from the health issues. I remember in my family also, my grandfather used to live in a village, and a nearby neighbor got suffered, and her baby was died because of the health issue. There was no hospital, and we case fired that application, but still there is a no point of objection, and there is no survival for that. So this is the main issue. The Swaraj is the self-ruling, and that is the today we as a youth we are surviving. There are lots and lots of services are available. National Service Scheme, NSS is there. His motto is not me, but you. As a nation, it's we are planting the trees, we are helping people, we are educating people. And in my college also, I'm from Chitkara University, and we educate people after our college ends, and that's our main motive, to help people. Gandhiji always believed that be the change that you wish to see the world, and exactly he did it. He changed the entire nation. He although he didn't want to be a political leader, but the incident led him to do that, and that is that he was thrown out of the train, and that ignited the fire deep inside them, that yes, I need to change this. No matter what, irrespective of which background are you from, irrespective of which color, the gender that you have, the main motto is to become very independent. And Gram Swaraj itself says that yes, he did it for our nation. And Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was started by him, and also we are doing it, but it's all depends upon us as a human. We need to think about it, because until and unless we are not working on this, we are not providing adding value to our nation, we are not there. We have to let that. And as a leader, he said that the ideal Indian village should be set up in such a way that the village has proper means and proper facility, so that they will not be suffered. And from this, the Gram Swaraj there, the Swaraj itself means the self-rule and self-reliant services. And also, he quoted a one good example, a good quote, that the best way to find your own self is to lose yourself in the service of others. When we add value to others' life, definitely
Please
it
be
will
brief.
gonna have this. So in short, I would like to say that do focus on the villages also, what they are suffering, and please, government should be there, should listen to them, and that's all. And he is of one freedom fighter I have seen in the nation. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sagar, for giving your views. Now, I would like to again reconnect with Ms. Kalita. Please unmute and speak now, if we can hear from you. Yes, please speak.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yeah,
now you
very
are.
good.
Yeah,
Very
please
good.
go ahead.
Good morning, respected chief guests for today's media conference, Professor Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty, Dr. C.P. Habib Rahman, and our chairperson, Mr. Lal Goel. A very happy Gandhi Jayanti. I am Hiramani Kolita from Northeast Meghalaya Loyola College, currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in education. I am feeling very privileged and honored to speak about our Bapuji on his birthday. Mahatma Gandhi, as we all know, he is considered as the father of the nation who led the successful campaign for India's independence from British Raj and inspired non-violence movement for our rights and freedom across the world. As we are aware of what he has done for our nation, like civil disobedience movements, Salt March, Dandi March, Gram Swaraj, and many more. The topic about which I'm going to talk about is Gandhi's concept of Gram Swaraj. Gram, which means village, and Swaraj means self-rule. In simple, Gram Swaraj means a self-ruled village.
The concept of Gram Swaraj proposed by Mahatma Gandhi is one of the alternative models of rural reconstruction whose main focus was to develop a society where individuals are placed in economic system center. Though Gram Swaraj is considered an ideal development approach, yet Indian planners and policymakers value economic development over individuals more and ethical values after independence. Gandhi's Gram Swaraj idea's main target was village, as he considered that rebuilding of a nation depends on the reconstruction of rural areas. He dreamed of a village by living peace and harmony among every different communities, free from discrimination, be it class, caste, sex, untouchability, and also to serve others who are in need, and also many components like healthy and hygienic village, sanitation, healthcare, cleanliness, village industry, which includes mostly handmaids with less machinery. Also a village where there will be the same respect for women as to men and be guarded, to educate and all the necessities of life. His approaches to his ideas of rural reconstruction were promoting and using of Swadeshi products and boycotting foreign products. Number 2, Nai Talim, which is a craft-based education system where learners are being taught practical skills, spiritual value, cultural and social development. Number 3, decentralizing political power where each individual through village panchayat would be the architect of their own government. Number 4, village industrialization through small scale and cottage industries. But the present modern society, as we can see, where human wants are unlimited, where politicians are occupying the villages to build factories and industries and other, which leads to exploitation, unemployment, wars, conflicts, etc., which are destroying the environment and also migrating from one place to another in search of jobs and studies. Today, the country suffers a lot of challenges and this needs to be developed immediately. Gandhiji was not against modern industrialization, but only was against mechanization. The Gandhian model of Gram Swaraj may be relevant because it focuses on self-sufficiency and self-reliance through economic development and encompassed moral and ethical values. But his idea of rural reconstruction was considered out of date and out of touch with the modernized projects introduced by successive Indian governments after his death. Introduction of different programs such as Community Development Program, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, and introduction of Society Raj institutions was influenced by his approach of Gram Swaraj. Therefore, the rural reconstruction approach of Gandhi through Gram Swaraj can be considered as one of the alternative developments to which it will be a gift of India to the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kalita, for giving your views. So viewers, you have seen today, our chief guests have spoken, both of them have spoken about Mahatma Gandhi and Gram Swaraj. And one thing, and even the youth part guest also spoken about that. But one thing was very, very common, and that common was that if the country has to develop, if the world has to develop, we have to see that the villages to be developed. And that is what Mahatma Gandhi visualized at that time. And his vision was to give the full independence to a village, and to give the full independence. Still, it is not too late. But what we are seeing today, we are using Mahatma Gandhi's name only for naming on a road or putting some statues and remembering him on 2nd of October. But are we really thinking, or are we really serious about what his philosophy was? I am sure that today's program is quite enlightening, and it clearly says that if we have to be a global leader in the world, we have to give full independence, not just a Panchayat Raj. Panchayat Raj we have seen has been given, but still the power lies with the center. No direct power, as one of our panelists has mentioned, until the health will not be improved. The country cannot develop. And we have seen in the COVID time how the village has become the lifeline for the entire country. The food stock, what we have consumed during the COVID time, it was only because of the farmers. And if we are not giving them the respect, how we can give the respect even to Mahatma Gandhi? So today's day, we must try, and I appeal at least to all the youth and young people just to read Gandhi properly, read his philosophy, try to, even if they imply only 10% of his philosophy, the country will develop like anything. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se Samvad Saroka News, Bharat Post News, as well as shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor to bring to you every day new topic in our media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Tomorrow, our topic is management and social responsibility. And our panelists are Professor Dr. Mohanlal Agrawal, President, Indo-Gulf Management Association, Dubai, former Professor of Marketing, Innovation and Management, IIM Lucknow, Miss Harpreet A. De Singh, Executive Director, Air India, New Delhi, Dr. Subhash Sharma, Director, IBA Business School, Bangalore, Dr. Shiv K. Tripathi, Leader, Humanistic Management Network, NCR, India. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Dr. C.P. Habibur Rahman. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. N. Sridhar Shetty.
Thank you.
Thank you all the three youth guests for participating and giving your very, very valuable views. Thank you all the viewers for watching our show. I'm sure today's program is quite enlightening on a very, very auspicious day, that is